Kia ora, and welcome to Wednesday's Economy Watch, where we follow the economic events and trends that affect Aotearoa. I'm David Chaston, and this is the international edition from interest.co.nz. And today we lead with news. China's clear need for less oil has pushed its price sharply lower, even as both the Gulf of Hormuz and the Red Sea remain effectively shut. As other sources raise their output, global demand is being undermined, essentially by this Chinese transition. But first up today, we should note the overnight dairy pulse auction. Prices achieved were a bit more than 1% lower than last week's full auction in US dollar terms, but a bit less in New Zealand dollar terms. In the US, the ADP weekly private payrolls monitoring recorded another easing, only 15,000 jobs, and extending the easing trend that has been in place since early May. The US merchandise trade deficit came in more than $100 billion in June, a second straight month of unusually high negative levels. Year-on-year exports were up, but imports rose faster. Meanwhile, both their retail and wholesale inventories rose in June, reflecting the stockpiling trend that has been in place for a while now. But the expected improvement in the Richmond Fed's factory survey didn't eventuate in July from June, but it remains modestly positive. New order flows edged lower, while price and cost levels remain elevated. But there was a solid improvement in the Dallas Fed services sector recorded in their July survey. Nationally, the Conference Board's Consumer Sentiment Survey in the US took a step lower in July. This extends its falling trajectory that started in early 2025. And the auction for the US Treasury 7-year note was well supported earlier today, but again, investors are getting high yields for the elevated risk they perceive. This latest one delivered a median yield of 4.41% compared to 4.20% at the prior equivalent event a month ago. In Japan, a major 7.1 earthquake in the south has caused widespread damage and deaths. And Japan's parliament has approved a plan to create a second capital capable of keeping the country running should disaster strike Tokyo. It is likely to be in Osaka. And Malaysia said producer prices there were 9.2% higher in June than a year ago. This is an unexpected jump from the anticipated 7.7%, which was similar to May's rise. And staying in the region, Singapore reported its birth rate for 2025, and for the first time since independence, it has fallen below 30,000 in a year. It, like many places, is on a steep trajectory of lower fertility. Industrial production in India rose 7.3% in June from a year ago, more than expected, and the sharpest pace of expansion in nearly 2 years. It seems to be bouncing back from the initial shocks from the Middle East conflict. And later today, we'll be getting the June CPI result from Australia, and a no-change 4% rate is anticipated. But yesterday, Governor Michelle Bullock was out speaking and affirming that they are worried that these high levels are embedding, so their 1 to 3% target range is not likely in the medium term. Some are wondering if this was a signal that an unexpected rate hike is about to be delivered next week. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now just on 4.60%, down 5 basis points from yesterday at this time. And the price of gold has fallen to $4,030 an ounce, down $48 from yesterday. Silver is now just on $57 an ounce, down $1.50 from yesterday. And oil prices have fallen another $3.50 from yesterday, and now just over $79 a barrel in the US, while the international Brent price is now just over $84.50 a barrel and down $5. Hormuz transits are still basically halted, though. There have been no crude tankers and only 3 cargo ships exiting over the past 24 hours and 3 entering for new loads. The Red Sea is even less active than the prior day. The Kiwi dollar is up 20 basis points from yesterday at just under 57.9 US cents. Against the Aussie, we're up 40 basis points at 83 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're holding at just on 50.8 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index starts today at 61.8, which is up 20 basis points from this time yesterday. And the Bitcoin price starts today at $63,568 and down 2.1% from yesterday. Volatility of the past 24 hours has been modest, at just on plus or minus 1.7%. You can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston, and we'll do this again tomorrow.